Welcome to Beyond the Headline. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. The headline today has been top leaders of the Maharashtra government making a beeline to a five-star hotel in the city where MLAs of the Maha Vikas Aghadi government are being protected from horse trading. Now, from the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to NCP boss Sharad Pawar to Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge, all have turned up at this hotel to keep their flock in place. Now, all of this is happening for 6 Rajya Sabha seats from Maharashtra that have 7 contenders. Let's quickly look at who those contenders are. Now, while the Sena has fielded Sanjay Pawar and Sanjay Jha, the BJP has nominated Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, Anil Bonde and Dhananjay Mahdik. The NCP and Congress have 2 candidates in the fray, Praful Patel and Imran Pratapgarhi, respectively. But the fight for Rajya Sabha elections is not just in Maharashtra. So why has this become such a heated political context? Here's what's happening. On the 10th of June, elections for 57 seats in 15 states of the Rajya Sabha will be held. But it's not all 57 where the fight is taking place. The real contest is for just 16 seats in 4 states because the remaining nominations are unopposed. So effectively, this is the battle that we're seeing. The Rajya Sabha, as you know, is the House of Elders and its members are chosen through votes of MLAs. The idea is that political parties have representation in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of their strength in state assemblies. Now, 1/3 of the seats are contested biannually and the members are either elected or nominated. It is the MLAs who choose them. Recently, there have been some comments on whether the Rajya Sabha is still playing the role it is meant to because of an increasing dominance of the NDA in the upper house. But here is why the Rajya Sabha is important. To clear bills, apart from money bills, the Rajya Sabha is the place where the bills have to be finally cleared. They have to be cleared by both houses. The Rajya Sabha also has a vote in them. Rajya Sabha MPs are also part of the electoral college that elects the president of the country. Hence, representation is important for parties here. In the current scenario, displaying control over MLAs is important for parties to show that they are in control. And importantly, the Rajya Sabha also gives space for prominent voices, especially in times when the Lok Sabha is also dominated by the NDA. Hence, you see the clamour for parties to represent their best speakers. The Congress, for example, has fielded a lot of its former ministers, even as members in those states are wondering why they haven't made the cut. So these are some of the reasons that we are seeing the Rajya Sabha contest getting heated up. But let's focus now what's happening in Maharashtra, where all of these MLAs have been tucked away in this 5-star hotel. My colleague Sandeep is joining us live from the location. Sandeep, what is the latest coming in?
See, as far as the MVA meeting is concerned, you know, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray chaired that meeting and NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, Congress Party leader, senior leader Mallikarjun Kharge was also present at that meeting. And now, in the presence of these leaders, all Congress Party, Shivsena and NCP MLAs were present at this meeting, and all the independent MLA, who are extending their support to MVA government were also present. Now, Chief Minister of Maharashtra addressed these MLAs and said that, he is very much confident to win the Rajya Sabha polls. Now, what is the biggest problem out here for MVA government is that, there are 6 seats in Maharashtra for Rajya Sabha, and BJP has fielded 3 candidates, whereas NCP, Congress have fielded 1 and 1 respectively, and 2 from Shivsena. Now, the biggest challenge for MVA government is to stop horse trading and to get votes from the independent MLA. Remember, Piyush Goyal and Anil Bonde are two of the candidates for BJP. Apart from that, Dhananjay Mahadik could be a spoiler for MVA government.
So 1 minute. Sandeep, what is the concern over here? One sec. Sandeep, what is the concern over here? Now, you've seen leaders of the MVA coming all day. We've heard from, the Chief Minister. We've heard from others. What is their concern? Why do they think the MLAs won't vote their way?
See, at this point of time, there have been several actions from central agencies on MVA government, and they believe that BJP may poach MVA leaders, MVA MLAs, and get the 13 votes that that will lead that will lead for the winning of Dhananjay Mahadik. And in the same sequence, MVA is very much frightened. And remember the day when MVA came into power, it was in fact Devendra Fadnavis took oath a few days ago with NCP. So Shivsena and in fact MVA government remember all these nightmares that it has gone through, and at this point of time MVA government does not want to take any kind of risk with the Rajya Sabha election, and hence remember.
Thank you for that, Sandeep. What it's also telling us that there is that insecurity. It's interesting because this insecurity is being displayed in other states as well. We've seen that in the state of Rajasthan. We're seeing that in the state of Karnataka as well. But let's just play out for you the sound bite from Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray.
असं संबोधन काय केले सांगण्यासारखं असतं तर तुम्हाला आतमध्ये बोलूनच केलं असतं ना. त्याच्यामुळे एवढंच सांगेन की कोणी किती काही जरी प्रयत्न केले तरी महाविकास आघाडीचे चारीच्या चारी उमेदवार खासदार म्हणून दिल्लीत जाणारच, राज्यसभेत जाणार. खरं म्हणजे ही विचित्र गोष्ट आहे. एक आपण परंपरा पाळत आलेलो आहोत. सभ्यता आणि राजकारण या दोन्ही गोष्टी परस्पर विरोधी असल्या तरी राजकारणामध्ये थोडीफार सभ्यता असायला काही हरकत नाही. आणि तसं म्हटलं तर आपण जो प्रश्न विचारला तो बरोबर आहे की 22-24 वर्षानंतर म्हणजे आता तर आपल्याला आठवावं लागतं शेवटची राज्यसभेची निवडणूक कधी झाली होती. एक परंपरा आपण पाळायला काही हरकत नव्हती.
We've been joined by former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Prithviraj Chauhan. Sir, a strategy meet took place today. What was discussed? What were the point of discussion today? How would you secure all your 4 votes or 4 seats?
Number one, I wouldn't say this was a strategy meeting. It was the meeting of the Mahavikas Aghadi Legislative Party. We already have demonstrated the numbers that we have when we obtained the vote of confidence 2.5 years back. We have adequate numbers to get all our 4 members elected. I don't know why BJP, without having adequate numbers, have forced the election. This is done very clearly with the intention of horse trading. They have the resources for horse trading, but I am sure that no MLA of Mahavikas Aghadi will fall prey to this horse trading.
No, but Maharashtra Chief Minister also made a statement. He said that we just won't secure our Rajya Sabha seats, but as well as we will win our MLC seats as well. How? What kind of? Where does this confidence come from?
See, MLC seat is not yet called. The parties will announce their candidates today or tomorrow. That's a different story. Let us finish Rajya Sabha election first on 10th.
Are you not confident of of your MLAs? Why do you need to keep your MLAs in hotels? Why do you need special arrangements for Rajya Sabha?
There is no special arrangement. It's a very simple practical difficulty. In Mumbai, people stay in various different places. Some people say Navi Mumbai. Getting people together at a short notice is impossible if they stay in different locations, giving the Mumbai traffic. If they're all together, it's easy to call a meeting within a short notice of 10-15 minutes. That's the only practicality, nothing else. We'll have to have several meetings to decide our strategy about who will vote for whom, the first preference, second preference, third preference. It's a very complicated voting procedure. That's all.
All right, that's interesting. So the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra and Congress leader Prithviraj Chauhan saying that it's because of Mumbai traffic that they've got all the MLAs together. Does this really make sense? Can this be believed? Sanjay Jha is joining us on the show today. He's a suspended Congress leader. We'll speak in a bit with Smita Prakash, senior journalist, on this as well. Sanjay, what do you make of this insecurity? And, I also want to take this a little broader because you're seeing the Congress scramble in several states. You're also seeing them scramble and the MVA scrambling in the state of Maharashtra. Sanjay?
Well, I do believe, Tamanna, that this is a manifestation of political immorality at its lowest abysmal depth. I was with Smita just about some time ago on another show, and I can tell you that, it is appalling to me that we have reached such a pathetic level of our political conduct that today adult elected legislators have to be protected from being poached, whether it's through some kind of an investigating agency threat, as that is what a lot of people within the opposition are speculating, or is this some cash and carry, one of these ATM transactions? Now, I think it's either way. It's extremely sorry commentary on the state of politics in our country, Tamanna. Now, I want to tell you.
Obviously it is, but Smita, are you there? Smita Prakash, my question to you is that why have this round of Rajya Sabha elections become such a big fight? Why are we seeing netas so, insecure about their leaders? And that really is the big question, isn't it, Smita?
Are you unable to see me? I think there's some problem.
I am unable to see you, but I can hear you. So please continue till we fix your frame. But Smita, want to know your, perspective on why we are seeing this kind of a scramble for Rajya Sabha elections. Is usually not such a stressful affair politically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing, the way this buying and selling has taken place. It's like whoever has more money, more muscle power gets to win. It's such a sorry spectacle. It's been going on for decades. It began in the 80s, and I think it was the Ramakrishna Hegde versus Indira Gandhi in 83 or 84. And then it went on to become NTR versus Naidu. Then it went on, subsequently several other elections from Tamil Nadu to Rajasthan to Uttar Pradesh, and from Gujarat to Assam elections. You've seen this, whether it is to save a legislature or whether it is for a Rajya Sabha thing. And the worst thing is that Rajya Sabha is supposed to be this, election for the elders in the house. You're supposed to elevate the level of debate. And what is happening is, what we are seeing is this pathetic level of buying and selling. And let's not pretend that this is to do with traffic woes of Bombay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mumbai. I'm sorry, I refuse to buy that argument. It sounds so weird even saying it. Yeah. But then trust a politician to say this on air and get away with it.
No, but Smita, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On the one hand, you have the opposition parties, and you have even the BJP, shepherding their MLAs in other states. So you have this issue of parties not trusting their MLAs. You have the issue of the other parties trying to poach them, and this for Rajya Sabha seats. Let me come back to the moot question. Why is this round of Rajya Sabha elections, why these 16 contests become so crucial?
Yeah, as you pointed out, right at the beginning, that it is absolutely crucial because the BJP is not yet in a very comfortable position as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned. If they want to push in their agenda, which they came in 2014 when they were talking about, say, the Uniform Civil Code, if they want to bring in the CAA to continue, if they want to bring the NRC, if they want to bring all these things, they need the numbers in both houses of parliament. Right now, they are not in a very comfortable position. They need to, go across the lobby and talk to other parties, the NDA, that is. So if they have the brute majority, which they have in the Lok Sabha, if they get that even in the Rajya Sabha, they are in a comfortable position till 2024. There's also the presidential election. Even for that, for the opposition to upset the presidential election, they need to have a phenomenal amount of unity. And for that, you're seeing KRC, TRS, going and lobbying. You're seeing a whole lot of opposition unity moves which are happening in fits and starts. But for that, they need the Congress also. But it's not happening, right? So I think for the presidential election and for the rest of the BJP agenda to go through till 2024, they need those Rajya Sabha seats.
There was a comment recently by some senior political leaders, Sanjay Jha, that what's the point of the Rajya Sabha? Has it sort of lost its relevance over time? And this is a long-standing sort of issue and debate. The kind of scramble that we're seeing for these 16 spots shows it definitely hasn't.
Well, the house is called the House of Elders, but clearly to get in, you have to see such infantile behavior, Tamanna. I think it's really, we make a mockery of our democracy. It's like a stand-up comic act. But to answer your question, I do believe Manish Tiwari, my friend and colleague,
Yes.
wrote an article on why he thinks the Rajya Sabha could be becoming a rather superfluous appendage in Indian politics. But I do believe this debate will hot up. And when you have an expanded Lok Sabha, which I think is inevitable, at some point, I think over the coming after the next election, the government will have to take a call on whether the Lok Sabha has to be expanded. And when that happens, I think the pressure will rise on this debate because, you can't have the Rajya Sabha become a parking lot. And I do know there are some very eminent people there, but at the same time, it is becoming a very convenient, shall we say, vehicle, a special purpose vehicle to fit people in. And
But
since
you know,
both you and I live in
Sanjay,
Mumbai,
some people will argue that it's also the check and balance in our parliamentary system, isn't it? It's a check and
Absolutely.
balance.
Absolutely. No, I can tell you there is a reason why the Rajya Sabha has a very significant constitutional role to play. And whenever you have a government in power in the Lok Sabha with the kind of brute majority that we've seen today or we saw in the times of the Congress under Mrs. Indira Gandhi, I can tell you the tendency or the kind of options that the party has to indulge in authoritarian acts and subvert democracy becomes a lot more practicable. And therefore, the Rajya Sabha has a fundamental duty to actually be one of the bulwarks of protecting Indian democracy. I agree with that.
Smita, let's come to what we're likely to see on the 10th of June. After all of this, what is your bet on the outcome? And is it absolutely crucial for the BJP to get its selected members in?
I dare not, give my opinion about what the results of an election are going to be. I've been wrong so many times. I don't want egg on my face. But for the BJP, every election is crucial, Tamanna. They go for everything. They go for the kill with every election. They never take it easy. That's one thing about the BJP, that hunger to win is always there. Whether it is, it's a local level poll, a panchayat poll, an urban development council poll, it could be a sports poll, it could be anything, but they have this hunger to win, and they never take the Congress party lightly. Even though they talk about a Congress Mukt Bharat, even though they talk about how quintessentially loser party it has become, they may make fun of it on social media, on television, but they never take it lying down, because this party believes that the Congress actually defeated the Vajpayee government at one point of time. I mean, they didn't get the total numbers, but this country defeated a Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee who was so popular. So if that could happen, that at any point of time, the Congress could get together again. So they never take the Congress for granted, whatever their spokespersons might say.
Okay, Sanjay, you wanted to come in. Last comment on, what the outcome could be on 10th of June if you want to take that risk, and also about why it's important in the context of crucial state polls coming up in some of these states.
Well, I can tell you that one of the risks that any party takes when it has outsiders is that you demoralize your local state leaders at that point. And that is a very natural development. For the Congress, I want to just tell you one thing why the Congress is terribly insecure. You will all remember what happened in Haryana with that ink controversy where Mr. Subhash Chandra got through, and I think I'm forgetting his name, R.K. Anand probably lost the election. So this is the kind of, insecurity and fear even amongst cohesive teams that are supposed to be there. One of the reasons why Randeep Surjewala was not fighting from Haryana is because he doesn't believe that Mr. Huda will support him. That's a fact. I'm not saying anything very sensational. But at the same time, I feel this Sam Dam Dand Bhed politics. I agree with Smita, the BJP's hunger to win. In one sense, I extol that virtue. But I'm critical when it becomes, so crude in its exhibition. This Operation Lotus, I have to win at any cost, and the means justify the end. I think that, to a great extent, is corroding Indian politics.
But that's been for a while. That's been for a while. Horse trading isn't new. Yeah. MLAs often get to visit resorts in different states. Just the Rajyasabha elections this time round have given them perhaps one more opportunity. So maybe it helps beat the traffic in Mumbai. You never know. There's also an admission of how tough the traffic is to navigate. Thank you so much, Smita Prakash and Sanjay Jha, for joining us on the lead story this evening on Beyond the Headline. Just to recap for you why there is such a big fight right now in Maharashtra. There's 6 Rajyasabha seats in the state. There are 7 contenders. The Sena has fielded Sanjay Pawar and Sanjay Raut. The BJP has nominated Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, Anil Bonde and Dhananjay Mahadik. And the NCP and Congress have 2 candidates in the fray, Praful Patel and Imran Pratap Gadi. Remember, the selection of some of these candidates has also been fairly contentious. So that was the big story on this segment of the show.